Can you tell me how many subsidiary companies of your group are incorporated and operating in the Cayman Islands?
I don't have that number with me either.
You have 181.
There are $1.6 trillion booked to Cayman Islands banks. Almost none of that is actually in Cayman.
One day 3 years ago, I got a call from Brigitte Alpin, who is a fiscal specialist, an expert here in Quebec, and she said, I've written a book about tax injustice, and we should really make a documentary film about it so that people get the message.
What's different about Google, we're not selling books and we're not making coffee. The consumers are based on the computer science. That is what creates the economic value for Google.
What does Bermuda create?
Kodak had hundreds of thousands of employees, really good, solid middle-class jobs. The new world of photography is Instagram, which had 13 employees and sold for $1 billion to Facebook.
Les entreprises meurent sous l'effet de cette révolution industrielle et cessent de payer des impôts. Et puis, la marge se déplace vers les paradis fiscaux.
I didn't even at that time really know what fiscal meant. And so I realized that this was something that we had to work on. And I managed to get funding for it. And I approached Harold Crooks because I'd seen his film Surviving Progress. And he came on board and we built a team and managed to involve Radio-Canada. And there it started.
You know, we're talking about 10 to 15% of the world's financial wealth basically being invested offshore beyond the reach of tax authorities.
So far from being a success story, I regard the City of London as the world's biggest tax haven.
He's a fascinating vicar, a clergyman, but who's also just been elected as the first Labour city councillor in the corporation of the City of London, which is different from London itself. And it really is the entity that that represents the whole finance industry. And yes, it's a symbol of the fact that the finance industry has basically taken hold of this offshore project, and which is silting away public finances. And if we don't do something about it, who knows how far this can go.
There was a period before we had a welfare state. We had the welfare state under a certain set of conditions, and those conditions have changed.
This social contract is broken.
The first step is to hope to understand, and I think this is what the film is trying to do, to help us to understand how all of these things are connected. Tax havens, the offshore world, austerity policies, the dismantling of welfare, parts of the welfare state. And so first thing is to try to understand, and then you can join groups that are already working on these issues, like Tax Justice Network, Canadians for Tax Justice, ATTAC. There are several groups across the world and here in Canada that are working to get policies changed, and I think that's probably the most effective way.
People didn't invest money into services. I mean, you look at the state of the roads here, the most basic thing, and there's potholes everywhere. Property tax they're introducing, water tax, all these new taxes, personal taxes.
It really is a film for change, with a message for change.
We pay all the tax you require us to pay in the UK. We paid £6 billion of tax last year.
We're not accusing you of being illegal, we're accusing you of being immoral.